click on Faith.
I don't know if you're able to see my screen now. Julie?
Not yet.
Julie, I don't know if you're able to share my presentation in English too.
Yes, let me do that.
Okay, thank you so much, Julie. As Julie mentioned, my name is Faith Lenya. I'm a seasoned human resource professional with a dotted line to project management, specifically innovation and change management. I'm also a certified human resource professional, certified by the Institute of Human Resource Management. But most importantly, I'm a student of life. So as we begin this session, I'd like for us to have a background or just a stepping ground before we start. You have to start to understand the job market. You have to start by evaluating the current business environment, and that includes the global market and also now narrowing down to the East African region and more particularly to Kenya. For the purpose of this introduction, I would like to mention that from a human resource point of view, as per the latest statistics by the International Labour Organization, the percentage rate of Kenya's unemployment rate as compared to the total workforce stands at 6%. And this is lower than what we have had through the years. This number is projected to increase significantly also given the number of graduates that we have each year. As this number continues to increase, and as we continue, getting more graduates year in, year out, it is important that we equip ourselves or have enough. Sorry, I hope you can hear me now.
Yes, Faith, go ahead.
Yes. This lack of jobs in the market right now is being amplified by some factors like having the Ukraine-Russian war that's happening right now. Recently in Kenya, we've had our elections, and we know how much that affected even the stock markets. After the judgment was read the other day, the stocks shot by a whooping 100 and something million, or is it billion? So we can see how political factors and economic factors are affecting the rate at which graduates are being employed out here. So as a result, us individuals have to see a way of making ourselves more in tune with the market right now. Julie, can we go to the next slide, please?
Okay.
It's okay, just follow
again.
It's okay, I can still proceed without the slides, if it's okay. So as new graduates and also people who are new to the job market, we simply have to put ourselves in a position to win. And how do we do it? Our introduction to recruiters out here is through our curriculum vitae, social media platforms like LinkedIn, like Twitter or Instagram, or other avenues where recruiters go to headhunt. And we want us to have that oomph or that wow effect to recruiters. So how do we do this? By the end of this presentation, we'll be able to craft our CV to be to be a winning CV. And also we will know how to prepare effectively for interviews. As we know, we can be very confident out here, but as soon as you go to an interview, you become dumbfolded because of getting cold feet. But by the end of this conversation, we want to get rid of that. So what do we do when we're preparing to go job searching? First of all, job searching is a full-time job on its own. For people who have been out here looking for jobs, we know that looking for a job is actually a job on its own. So you need to prepare for this. And how do you prepare? Firstly, you need to have a master CV. This is like your master plan. It's a skeleton CV that you're going to be using for all interviews or rather job application that you're going to be putting out there. All you need is to beef up this CV every single time that you have a new exciting opportunity that you want to apply for. Also, it's important to track how many applications you're sending out. You don't want to also send out applications blindly. Tracking these applications will also show you which industries you're prone to, and it will inform your future decisions or future applications that you're doing. It also gives you a platform where you can check what applications are due for closing, what applications you need to send probably thank you notes to because you've been in.
Hello, Faith. I think we lost Faith. Let me just check if she's still in the room.
Invite you to the interview. And so for to job search is to clear your yes, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, sorry about that. I'm out in the field and the network out here is a bit shaky. So the most important thing when preparing for job searching in this digital era is cleaning up your social media platform. You want your social media to have exactly what the values and the values that you want to portray. Who are you as a person? Who is Faith as a person? Let your social media history portray this. For social media platforms like Twitter, people can see your liked history, and this may affect how interviewers or recruiters see you, because when they're going to do their background check, they don't want to find probably you like hateful comments or you're biased or you have racism, you're racist, sorry. So clean up your social media and go out and apply for jobs. To ensure that you are constantly engaging with your connection is another important aspect. Let people in your social circle know that you're looking for jobs. Let them know what it is that you like, what it is that you're looking forward to or rather organizations that you're looking forward to joining. They may have connections in these places, and that would make easy connections come through, because they will get links to these jobs and send them directly to you. As we start searching, where are we searching for jobs? What geographical location are you looking to work in? What industry are you looking to work in? Are you looking to work in the banking industry? Do you want to work in the technological industry? Do you want to work in a small size organization? Do you want to work in a medium-sized organization? Do you want a startup? Do you want an organization which has been there for a long time? What are you looking forward to? What organization are you looking forward to work with? Having such fundamental things to look at narrows down the applications that you do and makes your work easy, because then you don't start running around like a headless chicken trying to apply for all jobs that you come around. Job hunting is a hectic job as it is, so you don't want to add more trouble for yourself. So there are some tools that we have currently that assist recruiters and also job seekers look for job. And these tools are, for example, LinkedIn, which a lot of recruiters are using to headhunt. How you develop your LinkedIn profile, what you have in your LinkedIn profile is quite important, and we're going to dive into that in this webinar. I think the other most important tool that has been there, especially in the East African market and probably in Africa at large, is Brighter Monday and Fuzu. These are platforms that you can easily upload your profile to, your CV to, and the recruiters that have accounts in their employers who are looking can easily locate you and, connect with you from there. I've also included some more from a global perspective for those that want to widen their borders. And also, you can go to the specific companies that you want to apply for. Go to their websites. They have sessions where you can interact with them, ask where you can send your CV. Some have career portals that you can actually apply from. I tackled LinkedIn, and I said it's one of the tools that we're going to be diving into. First and foremost, you need to have a LinkedIn account. This is where you will find most of the opportunities nowadays. Recruiters are moving from the traditional recruiting methods, and they want to go out to the market and get fresh candidates from there. So you have to have a LinkedIn account at this point if you're job searching. So how do you want your LinkedIn account to look like? My advice to you would be, get a professional picture taken for your LinkedIn profile. It doesn't matter if you will get a phone and just take a good picture, or you'll go to the studio, get a LinkedIn photo. Any method you want to take, make sure you get a professional photo which will bring traffic and traction to your own profile. You also want to ensure that you update that you're looking for a job on your header, so that also more recruiting personnel can be redirected to your profile. The other important thing about LinkedIn is to ensure that you get endorsements from your circle. These endorsements are important because they are a backing. If, for example, you say you have leadership skills and say 5, 10 people, 13 people endorse this, it means for sure not only you, but other people in your circle agree that you possess these leadership skills. If you say you're effective in communication and you get more endorsements on them, it means that more people in your circle agree that you have good communication skill. Don't forget that you are a brand. So market yourself how you want the recruiters to see you. Let's what you're posting on your LinkedIn be in line with your principles and your qualification. Don't let your feed be out very, very social, number one, in a way that recruiters feel like you don't have boundaries. And also don't make it too, how can I put it? Just use buzzwords that are going to attract traction to your profile. With this, you'll realize that your LinkedIn profile has a lot of similarities with your CV. A LinkedIn profile is like a summary of your CV, if you may. And before we even start about how to write a CV, there is a document called cover letters. I remember when I was starting out, I didn't really like writing cover letters. I was wondering, why am I writing a cover letter and I'm sending a CV? But over the years, I realized that this is the one document that lets you express yourself using your own language and stating why your credentials are important, or rather will add value to this position that you're applying for. It also shows that you're interested to this position. So let your cover letter show your credentials and also the interest that you have in this open position. So now we have our cover letter. How do we come to writing the CV? Some of the tips that I have for you is be very specific in your CV. A CV should not be more than 2 to 3 pages. If it is more than 2 to 3 pages, I like to say that that is a book. No one wants to read a book. We just want to have a quick overview of what your qualifications are, how you can add value to the organization, and why you're the best person for this particular position. So basically, this CV should be so catchy that the person or the recruiter looking at it wants to read from the first word to the last full stop that you have in your CV. So use buzzwords that are in your JD, and that is why earlier we said you need to have a skeleton CV that you're going to be beefing up when you're applying for different jobs. Do not, and I repeat, do not use the same CV to apply for each and every job. Each and every job is different, and you also want to show how your skills fit into these different jobs. Ensure that you have proofread your CV before you send it. I like to advise job seekers to use legible fonts, especially Times New Roman in 12 point. That is okay, it is acceptable. And also do not forget how to space your work. Make sure that the spacing is the same all through your CV. The other aspect about CVs is get people around you to look at your CV. Get another eye, get another angle, get people that know you to go through your CV and tell you if it's a good representation or the actual representation of the person you are. You may have left a few bits and pieces of who you are or achievements that you've done, and these are important to job application. So how do we structure a CV? First and foremost, we introduce ourselves. That's through our bio data, your name, your phone number, your email address, and also please include links to your social media platform if they are important to this role that you're applying for. The second thing is to write your objective. The objective, I would like to suggest that you have to do 3 or 4 lines. More than that makes it too wordy and also takes up a lot of space. You also want to mention the company that you're working for or that you want to work for at this point and the position that you're applying for. When you're listing your working experience, kindly highlight your achievements rather than the duties that you have done previously. And this is an example for how to phrase this work experience. You can say you implemented targeted social media campaigns across Instagram and Facebook, creating an additional 20,000 monthly visits and generating 500 qualified leads in less than 2 months. Realize this statement has given us the task, what value you added to the company, and the timeline that you took. So be specific in your duties and list your achievements in line of these duties and not the duties themselves. While you're listing your education, list them by the completion date. Hello.
Oh, sorry.
Okay, it's okay. As I was saying, when you're listing your education and training, list them from the most current, and if you have more degrees, if you hold more than 1 degree, you may want to list them from the most relevant to the other accomplishments. the most important thing to remember is make sure that the CV highlights the things that are important to the particular job that you're doing. In terms of leadership skills, make sure you don't leave anything out. If you were a class president, please add this there. If you were a chapter leader, this is also important because it boosts, or it actually reinstates the fact that you have leadership skills. Also, people forget to add things like scholarships that they have had, or being the fellowship programs that they have been through. These are important things to put on your CV. They make your CV impressive and get the recruiter excited about you. So we have gone through the tedious process of job application and sending out CVs to different organizations. How do we behave in the day of the interview? First and foremost, we have to go back and refresh our memory on the particular company we are applying for. Go back, read their vision statement, their mission, acquaint yourself with the information about this particular organization that you're applying for. These are some of the questions that interviewers they ask during the interviews. And when you get a candidate that doesn't know even the vision or the mission of the company, then you get a bit shocked. So nowadays we have both physical and virtual interviews. How do you prepare for, say, virtual interviews? Number one, you need to ensure that you have good connection, your device is fully charged, that you are in a room where there is minimal distraction, the interviewers can be able to listen to you, they can hear you clearly, there's no much echo coming around from the room, all devices that you have been switched off. If it's a physical interview, you want to make sure that you're well dressed. Number two, you want to make sure that you are courteous to everyone that you meet around the vicinity of the organization. You do not know how this may affect your interview. The recruitment, we say, starts from the gate. So even the gate man is interviewing you. So we are at the venue and the interview is starting. How do we carry ourselves during the interview? First and foremost, we have to make sure that we are attentive and listening to the questions that the recruiters are asking. Kindly, I tell candidates, answer the question that you're being asked. Don't answer your own question. So be very attentive. Answer the question that the interviewers are asking you. In terms of the structure of answering the question, you can use the STAR method, which is stating the situation that you're being asked to elaborate in, the task that was involving, the actions that you took, and what came as a result of the actions that you took. So this is a more structured way of answering questions, but it ensures that you don't leave any important aspects out of your answers. Also, how do we ensure that our body language is communicating positively? How do we ensure that we are communicating with our interviewers in a positive way? Firstly, we need to be clear and direct while answering our questions. Project your voice. Let your voice show your confidence. Let your hands not fidget. If you may, you can put your hands on top of your laps or just on top of the table, but not in an intimidating way. Your posture also, sit comfortably. The seat is yours for the time that you're being interviewed. Feel comfortable on your seat. If you want, you can push the seat forward or backward to a position that is comfortable to you. In case you're in a physical interview and there are different panelists in the room, make sure that you maintain eye contact with the various or the different panelists that are there. Don't just fixate your stare onto one panelist. That can be quite uncomfortable. So engage all interviewers and be present during your interview. There is one trick question that us recruiters like asking. What is your expected salary? And I realized most people don't like this question. So how do you prepare for such a question? What is your expected salary? Before you go to the interview, make sure that you look at the market rate. Look through multiple jobs that have the same job title as you have applied for and you've been called for the interview. From the target or the salary range that you get, choose what the maximum amount is and what the minimum amount is from your own research. Know what points you want to maintain as your walkaway value. Know which is going to be your mid value and what is going to be your highest value. If it's below your walkaway value at this point, I would like to advise you just to walk away, because if you accept a job that pays you less than you want or deserve, then you don't have the motivation to do this job. Julie, if we can move forward with the slides. So after the interview, what is the behavior that we need to portray after the interview? First of all,
Faith,
yes?
you have 7 minutes to go.
Thank you, Julie. I think I will give more time to the panelists. I'm almost done.
Okay.
After the interview, what we want to do is send a thank you note within 24 hours after the interview is over. Be appreciative of the position. Let them know that you are available on the particular email for any response that they may have for you. You can also notify your referees at this point that you have attended an interview and they may get reference letters for them to populate and send back to the organizations. Or still, it's important to notify your referees because it may have been a while before you have been in touch. So you also want to remind them that they are your referees and they may be contacted by a particular organization. So let's say you have gone to an interview and they give you an offer on the spot. What do you want to do? I advise people to ask for time. Ask for time to consider this opportunity. It doesn't matter if it's the only opportunity that you have gotten in the past, probably 1 month, 2 months, or 3 months. Ask for time, go home, sleep on it, think through. Don't let the excitement of getting that opportunity make you say yes, and probably you're being sold a raw deal. So go back, think about it. You can ask the hiring manager if they can give you more time to go and think about the job offer and make your decision. So I've put a list of some of the benefits and allowances that are available in the market right now. For the ones that are job seeking, you can just scan through them and see what are some of the allowances that you may get in your future jobs. And the ones who are already working, these are some of the allowances that you can negotiate for if you want, and the organization is open and willing to give them to you. So right now, because we have a lot of people working from home, things like mobile allowances, such as talk time or having a work phone, are things that are being used widely and facilitate employees in working. So these are some of the allowances that you'd like to ask for. Last and not least, we need to understand what our worth is. Going to the job market without knowing what your worth is one of the detrimental things that you can do for yourself. So understanding what your brand gives the organization is very important, because remember, at the end of the day, you are not the organization you work for. So ensure that your core values align with each and every organization that you apply to, so that when you get a job, you join an organization that you share your core values with. There's a guy called Carl Rogers, and he talks about conditionings of worth. What are conditionings of worth? These are conditions that we think we must meet in order for other people to accept us as worthy of love or positive regard. So dismantling these conditions of worth makes us more confident in ourselves. So we believe in our own worth in a way that no one, even a job, say a hiring job manager, will not tell you something during the interview and you go back thinking that, you know what, this was the worst day of my life. You go to the interview, find people who are not having a good day, and you move past it. So go to the job market knowing what you're offering and know that your own brand. So let this be your mantra. You are your own brand. Lastly, practice, practice, practice. Tell yourself that you're the best until you believe it. If you don't believe it, please go to the mirror every day, look at yourself, tell yourself that you're the best that there is, and your confidence is unshakable. This is the only way that you will be able to fight the anxiety that comes before an interview or the anxiety that comes when you're job hunting. And with this, as I said, I am a student of life. I'm also here to learn from my fellow panelists. Thank you for the time that you've given me, Julie. I believe I've given 1 or 2 minutes back.
Yes, thank you so much, Faith, for sharing the good information with us. I hope everyone has a notebook and a pen and you're noting down these important points that will help you even as you're job searching. Maybe just the takeaways that I got from Faith's presentation is when you're doing your CV, make sure that you're writing 1 or 2 pages, because you're not supposed to write a book. I think that is one of my takeaways. Then also she mentioned that whenever you're going for an interview, your interview starts at the moment you step at the organization's gate. So even the gate man or the people working within that organization or within that compound are interviewing you. So prepare yourself very well whenever you're having these interviews. So we will move to our next discussion. And I would like to invite our second speaker, who is Irvin. So I'll just go through a brief bio of hers, then she can take us through her presentation. So Irvin Durand is a communications strategist, writer, and mentor working with people and organizations focused on social change, equality, and fairness. Whether they work with communities or across regions, her goal is to help them build relationships, share ideas, exchange knowledge, and create opportunities for greater impact. Irmin is head of impact at AMI, a global equality network headquartered in Australia. She has a multidisciplinary role involving organizational strategy, impact, partnering, communication, design, and knowledge. She also provides guidance and support cases across AMI Africa location. She has worked with NGOs, CSOs, foundation networks, learning institutions, and media houses operating across the world. These include UNESCO, AFDB, Amnesty International, the Rockefeller Foundation, and Agence France Presse. Without much ado, I'll welcome Irmin to take us through her presentation. Welcome, Irmin. In the meantime, I've been informed that the chat section isn't working. So please use the section, the Q&A section, to put in your comments or any questions that you have for our panelists. We will have a session after all presentations where they will respond to the question. And now I welcome Irmin to take us through her presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Julie. Can everyone hear me? Yeah, great.
Yes.
Thank you, Julie, and thank you also to Faith for a very informative presentation with lots of really great points and amazing advice. And I wish that somebody had given me all of that advice before I started out into the world of work. So Jambo, bonjour, hello to everyone. I might switch between French and English today, just to keep you on your toes un petit peu. So I can't see any of the people on this call, unfortunately, on this webinar, which is a little bit of a pity because I can't see your energy, and I'm all about energy, really. But I hope that you're feeling good, and I hope the energy is good. So, as Julie said, my name is Irmin, and I'm not going to tell you about my job. I've lived in several different countries. I've had many different jobs, including in HR and recruitment. And I do a lot of different things. I speak 2 languages fluently and 2 others halfway. I love reading. I love staring at the sky. I love dancing. I love gardening. The reason I'm not telling you about my job is I am not just one thing, and neither are you. So as we talk about personal branding, which is essentially about you marketing yourself, I'd like to remind you of that. I'd like to remind you that you are not one thing. You are a magnificent being made up of a wide and wonderful range of characteristics and values and experiences and thoughts and dreams and vulnerabilities and skills. You are not a product, and you are not a commodity. You are actually a unique gift to the world, and you have something to contribute to the world that no one else has. You have a purpose, and that's why you're actually on the earth. Now, that purpose could be in your job, or it could be in another area of your life. And you might not fully know what it is yet, but that's okay. That's part of the journey of life for all of us. But the most important thing you can do for yourself in every area of your life is to be yourself, to be your unique, wonderful self. As the American writer Joseph Campbell said, the privilege of a lifetime is being who you are. And that starts with knowing yourself, building strong, healthy relationship with yourself, and building strong, healthy relationships with the people around you. And that's what we're going to talk about today. As humans, we're designed to be in relation with others. That's how we learn and grow, and that's what brings joy and purpose to our lives. No one thrives in isolation. So as you think about the career you want and the kind of workplace you want and the salary you want and how you're going to get there, let's pause for a moment and look at who you are and how you can relate with others in the world of work when you find that dream job. Okay, so I'm going to share screen now. Give me 1 second to get that ready. There we go. Can everyone see my screen? Yes, thumbs up?
Yes.
Okay, great. So I work, as Julie mentioned, at an organization called AIM, which is a global equality network headquartered in Australia. And we work with young people through high school and through university to really, with mentoring, with imagination, to really help young people unlock their full potential and to get to where they want to be in life. That's, for me, the side note. Where I work, we have 18 values that guide everything we do and what we value and how we relate with each other. And these values are really strong guiding lights. A little earlier, Faith mentioned the values of the organization that you are approaching is really very important. And it's important that those values align with your values. At AIM, we put our values forward ahead of any other thing. And our 18 values are really strong guiding lights in building healthy relationships throughout your life, not just at work, not just in the workplace, but throughout your life. But here we're going to focus on the workplace a little bit, obviously. So I've picked just some of these values to talk about today, and I hope that you will come to truly embody these values as you navigate your way through the world of work. So let us get started. First of all, does everyone have something to write with? I don't know. I can't see if you're saying yes or no. If you're giving me a thumbs up, I'm going to assume everyone has something to write with. And I'm going to ask a question, a general question. Who knows the story of Superman? Now, Superman is a superhero because he has superpowers, but he also has a big weakness or a super weakness, and that is kryptonite. And that is the thing that he absolutely cannot overcome. So I would like you to take 1 minute starting now. I'm going to time you. And on a piece of paper, not in the chat, not in the Q&A section, just anywhere you like, on your phone, on your laptop, I would like you to take 1 minute to answer this little self-quiz. Alors, je vais commencer tout de suite avec la 1 minute. Vous avez 1 minute en commençant maintenant. Vous avez 30 secondes. « 15 secondes. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 seconde, top. Alors, encore une fois, je ne peux pas voir ce que vous avez noté, mais, Lucy's superpower is intuition. That's an awesome superpower to have. I'd also like you to take a second just to think about how that exercise made you feel. When you examine yourself, when you think about yourself, how did that exercise make you feel? Again, you can just note that down somewhere and you can come back to it and think through that a little bit later. Because as Faith was talking about personal branding, one of the most, I've worked a lot in brand strategy in the past, and one of the most important things if we're developing branding, and again, you're not a product and you're not a commodity, you're an amazing human being. One of the key things is understanding the essence of what we're putting forward. So understanding what is your superpower, what is your kryptonite, and coming to know yourself, those are very, very important starting points of being able to put yourself across. I'd just like to share my superpower is actually writing, and my kryptonite is procrastination. I am a horrible procrastinator. And what that does is it makes things that are small build up into things that are much bigger than they really should be. So that's my kryptonite, and I'm really working. If anybody has tips on how to overcome the kryptonite of procrastination, please share them in the chat, and I'll be very grateful to you. Next. If we think about it, we said a little bit earlier that you're not just one thing, you're a complex being. So here's a challenge. Imagine you have just a few seconds to introduce yourself, let's say in a professional networking event, and you really want to get across the essence of who you are professionally. I'm going to give you 3 minutes, and again, with your piece of paper, to distill the essence of who you are professionally into 6 words. Just 6 words, or less, not more. This will be more challenging in French, obviously, but it makes it more fun. So you have 3 minutes starting now. And if you want to put that in the chat, go ahead. 3 minutes now. 6-word bio. or your profile in 6 words? And again, this is a question of distilling essence into 6 words, and distilling essence is something that's very, very important in any aspect of branding. And it's also a very important aspect of knowing yourself. Il vous reste 2 minutes. Oh, Lucy, you've got skills here. Bold conflict resolution life strategies. A speaker, motivator, ready to work. That's great, Grace. Trente secondes. Quinze secondes. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 seconde et top. Et encore une fois, je vais poser la question. Qu'est-ce que vous avez ressenti quand vous avez essayé? Pensez à ça pour plus tard. Qu'est-ce que vous avez ressenti quand vous avez tenté cet exercice? I'm going to share my 6 words. I'm going to share them in my 6-word bio. I'll share it in English because I've never done it in French. I help people get it. 5 words. I help people get it in whichever way, whether it's visually, whether it's through writing, whether it's through connection or conversation. The key to what I bring is that I help people get it. There we go. So let's now jump into the values that we're talking about. I'd even forgotten to switch sides. So I've picked 10 values, 10 tips for the workplace. Okay, so off we go. First one, know yourself. Connaissance de soi. Ça veut dire de se comprendre, de comprendre ses émotions, de comprendre ses motivations, de comprendre ses désirs, ses capacités, ses peurs et ses aspirations. En fait, c'est ça, se connaître. Se connaître, ça veut dire aussi d'augmenter, de développer la capacité de connaître ses propres qualités, les qualités qui font de chacun de nous qui on est vraiment. Okay? Donc, self-awareness, comment on dit en anglais, je ne sais pas comment dire ça en français, c'est marrant. C'est vraiment une qualité cruciale et ça nous aide à se développer, ça nous aide à avancer en nous-mêmes et en notre vie et à prendre des nouveaux défis, à faire face à des nouveaux défis dans la vie. So the Chinese philosopher, I don't have this in French, the Chinese philosopher Lao Tzu said, Knowing others is intelligence. Knowing yourself is true wisdom. Mastering others is strength. Mastering yourself is true power. So that first value, knowing yourself, very important. The next value, listening. Now, listening is extremely important because if you can't hear what somebody is saying, how will you appreciate their situation? And listening is something that is incredibly difficult for a lot of us to do as humans. A lot of people are good at it, and a lot of people not necessarily. So listening is often the gateway to empathy and to connection. When we really want to connect with people, listening is the way. It is often a more powerful action than speaking. So active listening, it actually creates avenues for connecting with people, for understanding others. And that is so important in building your workplace relationships. It's also very important in interviews and just in a job application. The number of people who do not take the time to fully understand what the job vacancy announcement is actually asking for before they write their application, it's staggering. So that is an aspect of listening, paying attention. And if we want to relate with others, we start by listening. Asking questions. Au fait, en français, je n'aime pas trop cette traduction questionnement. Je dirais plutôt, disons plutôt poser des questions. So, est-ce que vous posez des questions? Quelles sont les bonnes questions? Quand est-ce qu'il faut poser des questions? Poser des questions nous permet d'avancer de ce que nous savons à ce que nous ne savons pas encore. Ça nous permet d'apprendre. Et la seule chose qui nous empêche de poser des questions, c'est de ne pas reconnaître que nous ne savons pas tout et que nous n'avons pas toutes les réponses. Et la seule question stupide, c'est la question qu'on ne pose pas. Alors, poser des questions, c'est un moyen très important d'apprendre et ça nous permet d'apprendre pendant toute la durée de notre vie. To be lifelong learners. Donc, keep embracing growth and learning by asking questions. Yes, and. So yes, and is a classic kind of improvisation game about accepting other people's ideas and cooperating. And that is incredibly important in a workplace. So the ability to listen to new ideas and build upon them by saying yes, and to make them bigger and bolder, instead of dismissing them by saying yes, but, or flat out no. So yes, and means encouraging a collaborative environment. And workplaces are meant to be collaborative environments. For example, I'll give you a funny example. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people talking. So we go. The first one says, imagination should be free. Yes, and so should higher order thinking. Yes. And I can help people set their mind free. Yes, and so can I. Yes, and we should start a university. Yes, and we should call it Imagination University. Side note, Imagination University actually exists. We founded Imagination University last year at AIM using a yes and approach. It exists, you can actually enroll and learn imagination. Next value, initiative. Now, taking initiative, there are a lot of definitions about this, but what we actually see it as is not being a bystander. And a lot of the time, especially in groups, it's very easy to become a bystander, to not take action, not to get started. So initiative is really about taking responsibility for getting things done without waiting for somebody else to make it happen. And it means starting now and getting it done. So it's really about identifying your own leadership qualities and your problem-solving skills and bringing them when faced with challenges or with questions or with something that needs to be done. But it's also about recognizing the leadership qualities and the problem-solving skills of other people, because none of us are in this on our own. We're all in it together. And a workplace, as we said, is something collaborative. So initiative can also mean just being aware of others and stepping back when needed and allowing others to take up their full space. So it has two sides. But if you haven't listened, and if you haven't asked questions, and if you haven't taken a yes and approach, you're probably not in a good position to take initiative. So one thing at a time. The next, this is one of our favorite values at AIM. It's really one of our favorite. Sometimes you will fail. You will screw up. It happens to all of us. It actually happened to me yesterday on a global conference that I was on. I screwed up really badly. It is human. It doesn't feel nice, but it's human. Now, no matter how brilliant you are, how accomplished you are, how cute you are, how many followers you have on social media, sometimes you will get things wrong. That's part of being human. When we fail, we learn. And when we learn, we grow. And embracing failure is the heart of a growth mindset. It's a mindset that allows for learning within failure to take place and to recognize that learning can be uncomfortable. Growth can be uncomfortable. So are you humble enough to fail and fail again or to get it wrong? If you are, then you'll grow. Michael Jordan said, I have missed more than 9,000 shots in my career. I've lost almost 300 games. 26 times I've been trusted to take the game-winning shot and I've missed. I failed over and over and over again in my life, and that is why I succeed. So take it from Michael Jordan. I don't have shoes named after me, he does. Forgiveness. Forgiveness doesn't happen enough in life, and it definitely doesn't happen enough in the workplace. When something goes wrong at work, we can forget that we are part of a team and that we're all working towards the same goal. And so we bear grudges, we compete, etc. And what happens is that breeds resentment. And as Nelson Mandela said, resentment is like drinking poison and hoping it will kill your enemy. It doesn't work. So forgiveness, forgiving ourselves, forgiving our others, letting go of what we might have done wrong, letting go of how situations have gone wrong, learning from them, but letting them go. That gives us the power to move beyond the circumstance, to move beyond something that someone else has done, to move beyond something that we have done and that we feel badly about, and to not let those things define us. When we forgive, we let go. And when we let go, we free ourselves. So forgiveness, and it's an important part of unshackling chains that can oppress us or that can really bind us. So it's really important to understand and allow the forgiveness process to take place. It doesn't happen overnight. Sometimes it does, sometimes it takes time, but it's crucial for personal growth. And that's forgiveness of ourselves and forgiveness of others. Kindness, that's one of our really big values at AIM, and we're really about building a whole kindness relationship and a kindness economy across the world. Forgiveness is an act of kindness, actually, and kindness can turn almost any situation around. And in a working environment, anywhere in life, the smallest act of kindness, sometimes just smiling at somebody and saying, you did such a good job today, or you asked a really good question in that meeting, or you look a little tired, is everything all right? Sometimes those tiny little acts of kindness, that can make a world of difference. And it makes a world of difference in relationships and in the entire energy in a workspace. So kindness is one of the most valuable currencies. And there's a saying that goes, be kind whenever possible. It is always possible. So you put a little bit of kindness in how you approach yourself at work and how you approach other people at work, and it will be it will actually make a big difference. This one, hard work and discipline, you all know this one, otherwise you wouldn't be here. So I'll say a little bit less about it. But hard work and discipline are really the gears that move us forward. They're really necessary element of educational, professional, and personal development. Hard work is important, and all of the people in life that you admire who have succeeded, depending on what your measure or your criteria of success is, and we all have very different criteria for what success is, but what people will say over and over is hard work and discipline. I worked hard. And I think that everybody here works hard. And I think the very reason that you're even on this webinar and planning how you transition or how you evolve or navigate the working world is because you are hardworking and because you have that discipline that you're already applying, right? So it's not always pretty, but it's completely necessary. As we know, you start a task, you give it your best, and you finish. Then you move on to the next task. And that's what we're really here to do. All the other values that we've discussed so far, they make this one flow, because this can be the hard one. So roll up your sleeves and get stuck in. And I would say, enjoy it. You only have one life, so enjoy it. Now, we've almost come to the end and said 10 values. So what I'd like you to do right now is to take 1 minute. As I mentioned, we have 18 values today, and I selected only 9 for today. But at the beginning of this slide, I don't know if you noticed, I said 10 tips for relationships in the workplace, right? 10 tips. So the 10th one, you're going to write it. I'm going to give you 1 minute. You think about, we all have different ideas about what are the most important values, don't we? And we all have something of value to contribute. So I'm going to give you 1 minute to add a value that's important to you. And if you're able to do it in the chat, let's do that in the chat. We're going to start the minute now and think of one value that you would like to add here. Et vous pouvez le mettre en français ou en anglais, c'est comme vous voulez. Hein. On n'est pas obligé de tous les faire en anglais. Il vous reste 10 secondes. Cinq secondes. Et top. Well, we'll see. Feel free to share those values at any other time. So we've almost come to the end. And I'd like to leave you with one final thing to do. Not here, but later, maybe in the next 24 hours. You're setting out on a really important phase of your life journey, and you will learn, you will grow, and you will change. And change is another one of our values at AIM. It is the only constant in life. The only thing we can be sure of in life is that things will change. That means tomorrow will be different from today, and you will be different from who you are today. So in the next 24 hours, set yourself the challenge to sit down and write a letter to the person you will be in 10 months' time. In 10 months' time, what will you have experienced? Where will you be? What will you be doing? What relationships will you have built? What values will you have embodied? How much kindness will you have spread in the world? Who will you be actually in 10 months' time? What would your self of today like to say to the self of the future? And then in 10 months, set a date to come back to that letter and see if you've gone in the direction that you had planned to go from today. So that's what I'm going to leave you with. Thanks very much for listening. And any questions at all, please do feel free to drop them in the chat or reach out to me at any other time. Thank you.
Wow, what an insightful presentation, Irvin. I've picked so much from your presentation. One thing that stood out for me is the need to ask questions. And you mentioned that not asking will limit you in terms of learning, because you only learn from asking questions. And also within the workspace, you need to take up space. So when you speak up, that's when people get to know what you know and the value that you're bringing within the organization. So those are the main points that I've picked. And also for the assignment that you've given us, that is something I really need to think through and write the letter to myself because we need to dream big. So as you write that letter, I'm hoping you will have the big dreams that you've ever imagined of. And 10 months from now, when you go back and read it, I hope everyone will have achieved whatever they've written in their letter. So thank you so much for that. You also challenged me. Yes.
Can I add one thing to that? As you talk about big dreams, and thank you so much for using those words, because I'm going to circle back to another of the 18 values that I didn't mention. And that is having brave goals. And often in the world of work, we hear about SMART goals, right? And I think a lot of us know what SMART goals are. They're specific, they're measurable, all of that, and it makes a lot of sense. But we also talk about brave goals. Brave goals are big, risky, audacious, endless, visionary, endless goals. That is dreaming big. So look at your brave goals maybe for today, write your letter to yourself in 10 months, and maybe in 10 months time, have a look. Did I get there? Did I dream big enough? Were my goals brave enough? And did I get there? And thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Irwin. Also, I've read several bios and people write a lot on their bios. And today we were challenged to write a bio of 6 words. So I'm hoping each one of us will take up that challenge and see and try and write down what really defines you in 6 words. So that's a big challenge that we need to take up. We have a request that we need to see who is in the room. So at the moment, I'm promoting everyone to be a panelist so that you're able to put on your camera and also have the speaking option. So if you see that prompt on your screen, don't be scared. We are not asking you to speak. We just want you to be in a position to put on your camera so that we can see your expressions if you're here with us. We also want to see your smiles wherever you are. So I'll move on to our third speaker, who is Lucy. Thank you so much, Lucy, for joining us. I know it's very early wherever you are, but thank you so much for the sacrifice and for your will to be here today with us to speak to us. So before I bring her on board, I'll just go through her bio. Then she can take us through her presentation. So Lucy is a life strategist. She believes that freedom lies in being bold. Wow, such wonderful words. And in the famous quote, boldness has genius, power, and magic, that the journey of life presents conflicts at every corner, internal and external. Lucy is a registered mediator in the state of Georgia and a notary public in her county. She has specialized in general civil mediation, domestic and family mediation, with many hours under her belt. She uses her bold reinvention personal journey of transformation from a 54-year-old divorced, single, lonely mother of 3 to a reinvented, reignited, a remarried 60-year-old that has dared to rethink what is possible, rediscover herself, and recapture joy. She dared to go back to school after 30 years, graduating with a Master of Legal Studies and an Executive Jurist Doctorate at 59 years old. She helps people shift into a reinventor mindset away from their limiting beliefs so that they can view challenge and transition as invitations to explore new possibilities and step into new opportunities as they continue to celebrate the small and big wins along the way. Wow, what an interesting bio. I won't read through all of it because I also want her to tell us about her journey as she goes through her presentation. So welcome, Lucy. You can take the floor.
Thank you. Thank you. Good morning, everybody. I'm so sleepy. I know you're about to go to sleep yourself. So I am not a morning person. So I usually don't step out unless I must before 10. So it's exciting for me to be up at 6. Very exciting, and more exciting because I am hanging out with such wonderful people. I mean, I was listening to the speakers before me and I was like, wow, this is amazing. Erman, Faith, thank you so much for what you've just been giving to us. And that's it, been giving to us. You really gave yourselves, you gave us, you gave yourself to us. And thank you so much. And I'm hoping that having to step in after such amazing speakers, I will not make you sleep. I will try not to. But I guess for me, the beauty is that I'm old, I've earned the license. When I was 50, I said, now I can do, I don't care how I look, but I guess what? When I became 60, then I have every license to take your time. So I'll be here till tomorrow morning. Thank you very much for hanging out with me, because I do love that. I'm just joking. I won't be here for too long. I'll try not to be, but I hope that I get you, I add on to what the speakers have said, which is pretty much piggybacking on what they've said, because many of them, the two of them, have said things that I probably will be saying in other words. It's just that sometimes when we hear something from someone, this person says it this way, the another person says it another way, and one of them clicks for each one of us. And that's how it is. So I'm going to share my presentation, and thank you, Julie, for that introduction. I am also not going to talk about my work. I have worked. I promise you, I'm in my second mountain. My first mountain, my first career, children, all that, stopped, finished. My friends retired. I got into my second mountain, and that's where I am right now. And I have only just begun. So let me share my screen with you so that I can walk you through. Usually I hate PowerPoints. I like speaking from my heart. That's why I was asking for your eyes. I speak into your eyes. They're the window to the soul. And I like to see your souls. Like now I'm enjoying what Ermin, is that the way how do you pronounce your name? You say Ermin? I can hear you.
You say Ermin if you're from the Caribbean. You say Ermin if you're speaking other English, and you say Irmin if you're speaking French. So
okay, Ermin. Good. Okay, whichever I say, thank you. So if I see your eyes, it helps me. So if you really, I beg you, if you really can, let me see your eyes. It will help me. Help me, please help me. I beg you, help me. So let me see the technical part. This is your grandmother, technology. So let's see, yes, this is the correct one. And here I am. And I managed to share that. Can you see it? Okay.
Yes.
Okay, started with the wrong part. Okay, now I need to reduce this. I can't see you if I do that. How do I do this? Technical, help me. I do want to see my presentation, but I also want to see the people.
Okay, let me share it.
Okay, that's okay. I figured it out. I figured it out. Once I see four people, I'm fine. I'll be good.
Okay, great.
I'll be good. So that's, I created this so that it can look beautiful for you, just to show off that I know technology. So that's my show off part. Created all this. Nobody helped me. I did it. And I have some fun facts. Some of them Julie preempted. What she didn't say is that I'm a mother of 3, 38, 31, and 26. I am not yet a grandmother. I have begged, I have blackmailed, I have bribed, but nobody has given me a grandchild. So please help me in doing the same. I accept all methods of payment so that I can bribe them. I dared to remarry at 56. Very scary, but I did. Imran was talking about brave goals. That was one of my brave goals. I went back to school, another brave goal, after 30 years of being out of school. And then I graduated, like she said, and I did it in 4 years. But I tell you what was brave about it, I didn't have a legal background. So you can imagine how scary that was in my first day in class. And most of the time in class. I am completely scared of heights, but I wear heels, very high heels, up to today, as you can see from the picture. That's the reason I shared that picture. I'm being bold, I'm showing off. But as much as I'm scared of heights, I skydived for my 59th birthday. And celebrated my 60th by parasailing. And if you have any ideas on what else I can do that's scary, big, and bold, let's do it. I'm with you. Let's do it. Come over. Let's do it together. So those are some of my fun facts. I love my facts. Now, let me talk about what's going on here. Oh, I don't want you guys to be on my screen. Oh, yes, there you are. I can move you. Woo, technology. So let's talk about, I was asked to speak about networking, which is basically what we're doing today. I just met Armin, I just met Julie, I just met Faith, I just met everybody here. So networking is simply meeting people and making connections. And those connections need to be connections that are powerful, that leave an impression, that make people, when they think about something that's happening, oh, I think Lucy can do that. I think Ermin can do that. I think Faith can do that. That's what networking is. It looks scary. It sounds scary. Most people even are scared of meeting people to begin with. But think about it, just the connections you make. You already are doing it already with your family, with your children, with your everybody. You're already making connections, so you're networking already. All we need to do is get more strategic and more clear. Have some clarity because we're in the job market or we're in the business market. So whether you're looking for a new job or seeking a business opportunity, networking is a great way to create contacts in the industry. There is no use in attending events or putting your profile on LinkedIn, like Faith said, and then not doing anything about it or spending time there on LinkedIn browsing other people's profiles. They all see, by the way, they see that you've been looking at their profiles. And then there's no need, if you don't even say a word, it's like you open the door, peep at people, and then close the door. Very, very rude. I think it's really rude. So if you ever look at my profile, say something to me. Even if it's just hello, I like the work you're doing. Recognize that. People like that. You never know when I might remember you. So do that in order to make it worth your time creating that profile. You have to focus on making a great impression that people will remember you. So for instance, I will definitely remember Faith, because I looked at her and I like the color. I like the way she's done her color. She looks really lawyery, actually, not HRA, if there's anything like that. I will remember her. I know I will. And I will remember Armin for her hairstyle. So your profile picture again, remember Faith talked about having a good LinkedIn profile picture so that people can remember. It's something that makes people remember you. I have a feeling you'll remember me for being a grandmother. Duh. Yes, you will. So business, like Richard Branson said, business opportunities are like buses. They are always what? There's always another one coming. Always another one coming. So don't panic. If you don't get into one, you'll get another one. But don't miss the one that's yours. In my life, I have missed several buses. Like Ermin said, you fail here and there. But you know what? When you miss one bus, please make sure you don't miss the next one. That's what is success. It's not the failing. It's the missing one and knowing that you won't miss the next one and preparing so that you don't miss the next one. So let's prepare you. Okay, this is not supposed to be here. I have to keep moving stuff because, like I said, I'm trying to be clever. So do your research before you go networking. Do your research, guys. I can't tell you how many people I meet at a networking event, and I ask, and I'm talking to them, and they're like, okay. They don't even know the company that hosted, the people that were going to attend. They really are just coming for there's no point spending time on the food corner or walking around with your drink. Just stay at home and sleep and watch Netflix. Because it's better to watch Netflix and learn from Netflix if you will learn, but than walking around and looking really messing your brand. Because what happens is I will remember you as the person that didn't have a clue when they came to a networking event. What do you think will happen when Faith, who is interviewing you or is organizing your interview, meets you, and then she notices you're the person who didn't have a clue in the function that they hosted? So please do your research. Do your research up to and including all these people have profiles on LinkedIn, all these people have lives. Just do your research and know somebody. Can you imagine if you had done your research on somebody and you walk in and you're looking for a job in that industry and you already know that they like tree planting. And we will talk about just now, later on, we'll talk about the kind of questions you're going to ask or what you're going to ask. Just imagine if you meet them and then they know and you say, do you know how exciting people feel when you ask them questions that are related to what they do? Very exciting. So do your research. And then before you go, please make a list. This is a tip, make a list. And I said, very critical, you can make as many lists as you want, but to be simple, 2 lists. Think of people you already know. Who are these people? People you already know are people like your colleagues, people like your family or organizations. So write down, you already know, and think of them, and then think of up level. I call it up leveling. Up leveling means like it's your boss, it's your colleague, and you want to make them, it's your friend and you want to make them a colleague, or it's your friend of a friend. So it's up leveling. That's what I call it. Up leveling. You want to up level your lists. In creating these relationships, when you up level, when you're working on up leveling, so when you're networking, you're thinking, I want to up level this person because that makes the relationship so much better. Then now think of the people you want to meet, the industry that you're looking for work in, because Faith said, you have to plan what industry you want to go to. So if you're looking for a job in a company or industry, you might want to target the HR manager. You might want to target the sales director, et cetera, et cetera. You might want to know them now. Then you start doing the research. So when you make a thing, at least like this, it makes it easier for you to target or to figure out exactly what you want. It makes it easier for you. It makes it visual. So please write it down. Ermine kept making us write down stuff. When we write down stuff, they register more, they stay more in our system. I think it's a science. I'm not a scientist, so maybe we can double check that. But I believe that does, because that's what works for me. It has worked for me. When I write down stuff, it works out for me. Then now the next thing is create an action plan. What does an action plan do? It helps you turn your wishes and wants into action steps. For instance, can you build around an hour, a connection hour? Maybe that's just one of the plans. So your plan is to build a connection hour. When you meet these people, what will I do? Later on, I will have a connection hour. Every week, I have a connection hour for me. It's usually Tuesday, 1 o'clock. Or Friday, 6 o'clock. So Friday, 6 o'clock means I'm going to be having tea or coffee or something, sundowner with somebody. It could be even something like a walk. Just create a connection hours with the people. And then because you've done research on them, you know that, say, for instance, I know that Julie likes walking. So I'll call Julie and say, oh, you know, I will join you for your walk. I already know that. Can I join you for a walk? Because we're going to connect. I also know that Ermine likes dancing. I heard her say that. I do too. So Ermine, when are we going to learn salsa together? Can we start? I saw a very good class that teaches salsa. You and I can go and learn. Or how far are you in your whatever, you know? So build a connection hour. It helps to have one, because that means you're strategically positioning yourself to meet more people, to network more. So always fill out that hour with a new person. It's not, so once I start connecting with Ermine, doesn't mean I stay with Ermine because, oh, that's my bestie. So now all I do is Ermine, I'm not networking. I'm through, it's not strategic. It's okay, friendship is good. We've created that, but come on, guys, let's move on to the next and to the next. But you know, we are very good at staying where we are comfortable. So once I connect with Ermine and Julie, I don't want to meet other people. I'm scared of other people. Now this one knows me. I want, oh, it's too much work. We'll get lazy also. We get lazy. We're okay with the crowd that we have, and new connections don't happen. I was talking to my husband. He is amazing. We were doing Bible study, and in the Bible study, it was virtual. And he was talking about him wanting to serve in ministry. And he was trying to figure out what he needs to do. And for me, it's like, it comes automatically. And I remember him saying, but you know, Lucy, your network is so wide. I know why his network is not so wide. When he makes a friend, he doesn't move. And I think it's a man thing. It's a man thing. He doesn't move. He stays on the friend. So I said, maybe you need to change that. So build that. Okay, let's look at my notes. I'm going to talk about this, but I want to be very, and my alarm is telling me to wake up, which is usually when I wake up. I stop. Yeah, it does that, isn't it? I'm going to fail. Okay, we have the action plan. Now, I usually tell people to have their business cards ready for networking. Now, this is old school, the business card thing, the physical one, I'm told is old school. I still use it, but I also use the virtual one. So, but please get something done. Even if it's just a little thing saying your name and your telephone. I can't tell you how many times when I was younger, I went to me, how can I get in touch with you? And I'm scrambling around the room looking for paper and ugly piece of papers. I even wrote on a cocktail napkin. That is what you write when you're dating someone, when you're giving them your room number. It's not when you're looking for a job. You go to a cocktail ready, or you go to an event ready with your cards. If it's virtual, you know how to. I think technology these days is so fancy that if you can actually send it to them, air what? What is it called? Air, whoever can speak and tell me, air something to them, your card. Amazing way, like you can just, there's so much you can do. So you guys are lucky at this time in your life because you're getting all these wonderful things. But what does it do? If you have the physical ones, of course, make sure you have enough. But also a business card will work as a reminder that they have met you after the event. So let them have your business card, or even when you pop up in their social media or whatever media they have, when you pop up, they can remember who you are. You're not just a stranger. So a business card helps that. I don't want you to focus too much on that because some people focus on that and they think that will do the job. I want you to focus on yourself. Please let it just, this is a tool. So don't focus on it too much. If you don't have it, it's okay. Create one though, but don't focus on it too much. So next, make sure when you land there, now you've gone, you've been bold, you stepped out of your house, you dressed up. Someone talked about dressing. Please dress comfortable. I went to this event, and when I was younger, not now. Now I don't do things like this. And I wore this spaghetti top that time spaghetti was the in thing. I wore a spaghetti top and I was feeling very pretty, but the place was really cold and I was shivering all the time. You don't want to do that. So check where you're going, make sure you dress comfortably. Don't wear heels if they're going to be pinching you. So the heels I was wearing for my graduation, let me tell you a story about them. Man, they pinched, but I had to be in heels. And they pinched, and they pinched. If you see pictures later on, I have a whole bunch of them, you will see that I removed the shoes and carried them on my back. Because at that point, it didn't matter how I looked, but I love heels. So please don't be like me. Be comfortable for the networking event that you're going to. Be comfortable on the technology, because networking nowadays is virtual, like now. Be comfortable with the technology, like now, what are we doing? People want to see that you know how to use your Zoom, your social, what's the other thing? WebEx, all those things that we use, the tools for networking. Be comfortable. Practice, 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 practice. Practice, practice, practice. Now, when you get there, is it you talked about listening? Armin, I think. Be a good listener. I call it listen, listen. Listen, listen. Nobody wants to have a conversation with someone who's just going to go on and on about themselves for the entire time. Listen, listen means I have just spoken the words, but what did my eyes say? What did my body language say? Don't listen to respond. Listen genuinely, be authentic, be yourself. Listen to hear what they're saying. We tend to listen to, how can I say, what's my next? In fact, we're not listening because we want to, what can I tell them next? So I have had people who I'll be telling them my name. Instead of asking me, I'll say, my name is Ratface. And the next thing they say, how long have you, because that's the next question they had in their mind. They wouldn't even hear that I said my name is Ratface, because that is funny. If they were listening, they would say, Ratface, that's a unique name, or something as nice as that. So no, ask goal-oriented questions. Then start asking goal-oriented questions. Don't ask, how many children do you have? We didn't come here to talk about my family, please. And that's too personal. But ask questions that help the people think deeply. Ask questions that help them look forward to seeing you and give them a reason to see you. Questions like, what projects are you working on? Because now they want to talk about some, check what, because you've been researching on them and you've looked around the room or whatever it is, or if it's on LinkedIn, you know what they are doing. So ask them questions like, what projects are you working on? They're excited about this project. Maybe they're a nonprofit and they're a nonprofit for women and they're excited about women. So you know that. So ask them questions that are focused on them, not on you. Even something like, oh, what makes you wake up in the morning? Very interesting questions, like Ermin kept asking us. What's your superpower? Things that help them to think. You know, they will remember you. They will remember you because you asked them something that got them thinking. Because once you get someone chatting about a topic they are really, really passionate about, they will light up, they will want to speak to you. And now it's easier for you to pivot the conversation into the business that you are on, like you're looking for work or you're looking for business from them. So, because now you've connected at the personal level. Because now they become passionate. Now they themselves have relaxed with you. They're not like, she's looking for a job. She wants me to do something for her. So no, now they're relaxed. You're asking them, you're talking at personal level and it's much more conversational. Now, the next thing you want to do I hope I'm not running out of time. Please keep telling me, warn me. The next thing you want to do.
You have 5 minutes to go.
Okay, so let me be faster. And I can only be faster if I know how to work this technology. The next thing is have the offer mentality. For heaven's sake, people will meet dozens of others that are networking. So what makes you so different from others? What is if you ask people what you can do for them, because they are likely to remember you in a way that benefits them. What can I do for you? For instance, I'm gonna ask Ermine, what can I do for you? I see that this is what you do. You speak. How can I get you to speak more in certain organizations? Which organizations are you targeting? See, Ermine and I then she's connecting. I can tell she's connecting. Faith, about your organization, I see you in telecommunications. You know that in my first mountain, I worked for the mammoth Kenya Post and Telecommunications. I was a public relations manager with them. So now we have something personal, we can talk. We can see, we have something in common. I was actually in charge of the Intelsat, which is really a mammoth thing that we can talk about that. So do you know someone they should know? Like maybe I know someone that Ermine should know, who is in the speaking industry or who is in the coaching industry, who is someone she should know. And then maybe she knows somebody. I don't know, because I'm actually preempting her. When I say I know someone that you should know. Oh, I also know someone that, Lucy, you need to meet so-and-so. That's what networking is. Very comfortable. Don't make it an official engagement. Then the most critical thing is please follow up. It's useless to go to all these events or to meet all these people and to get introduced to all these people when you don't follow up. Faith will tell you if she doesn't get a follow-up, like a thank you after an interview, she writes you kind of off. You're rude, pretty much. And do you want to work with someone that rude? No. Your mother told you to say thank you, at least. That's what they taught you. Your mother taught you that. So I'm your mother reminding you. That's the voice of your mother. So make sure you personalize it. Don't write one general one that you send to everybody. Then suddenly I'm saying, dear Faith, and then the thing goes to Julie. So, and I enjoyed meeting you. Oh yeah, you enjoyed meeting Julie, but not me. Now you've just messed it up. Be clear. And one of the quickest ways to stop a connection is to send someone a generic LinkedIn invite after the invite. You know the one they prepare for you? Personalize it. Make it, so if you're going to be connecting with me after today, for heaven's sake, if I see a generic one, I just don't read it. I just click it read and I move on. So I don't notice you. But if you say, Lucy, I loved the earrings you wore that day for the presentation, or your voice sounds so powerful, all those, I'm not saying you flatter, I'm just saying, say something. What flowers were those in the background of your presentation? Do something. Then that reminds me, and it helps me sort of put you on my face. Follow-up keeps you in front of my mind. That's what it does for people. So in summary, networking is one of the greatest tools you have in your career growth. And by being prepared, being professional once you get there, wherever it is, whether it's virtual or physical, being proactive with your follow-up, you can make sure you get the most out of it. Beyond that, breathe and just relax and have some fun as you network. I'll tell you before I finish a story. I remember I told you about wearing shoes, fancy shoes, my fancy shoes. They had a pebble that day inside the shoe and it pinched. And I wasn't focusing on the wonderful pictures. So some of the pictures I have, I've got this face that I'm grinning. I'm trying to smile, but I'm grinning. I'm looking weird. It's because of the pebble. So what's your pebble? What's stopping you? Think about the pebble in your shoe, the thing that's making you not network. And don't let the pebble in your shoe keep you from climbing the mountain that's in front of you. Like Ermin said, Julie said, it's a full-time, I think it's Faith said it's a full-time job searching. It's a full-time job. Life is a full-time job itself. Living is a full-time job. So we're here for a season. Why not just enjoy it? So I want to thank you very much. If you want to get in touch with me, that's my contact, and Julie can share that with you. And I am ready for questions. Thank you.
Wow, thank you so much, Lucy. Your energy is amazing. I hope my fellow participants have noted down things that will really help them as they venture into networking. I love what you said about listening to understand and comprehend, and not to respond. I know most of us, when we meet new people, we have our questions ready, what we want to ask them, but then we don't listen to the responses that they give us. Something else is also, sorry. People like to talk about themselves. So Irmin also mentioned that ask questions. So ask people personal questions, but I'm not talking about their families, their like personal information, but ask them about their career, how they've moved maybe to the level they are, if they are maybe at a managerial position. Ask such kind of questions with an aim to learn from them. We are not going to ask people questions because we want to spread rumors. No, we are going to ask questions because we want to know who they are and what we can learn from them. So thank you so much, Lucy, for that insightful presentation. We have one more speaker left, then we will go into the question and answer session. I know we are time bad, but we will try our best to rush through the next presentation. Then we can have a quick Q&A, then finish our webinar. So at this moment, I want to invite Kenel. I hope she's here. Kenel is from Sciences Po, a university in France. And she's going to talk to us about the programs that they do have at the moment for postgraduate and also graduate opportunities. So in as much as we are teaching you about networking, Lucy has told us also doing our studies is also important. So Kenel will take us through that, then we can move to the next session. Kenel, are you able to speak?
Yes, I am. I hope you can hear me.
Yes, we can hear you.
The only thing is that I'm seeing that my screen is black. Can you see my face or?
Okay, let me just.
Yeah, I don't know
The
why
screen
that
is black.
Yes.
Disabled? Have you disabled your camera at the top of your?
It's enabled. Yeah.
Okay, I don't know, maybe I don't know what the issue is, but you can send me the presentation on my email, then I will project it for you.
So actually, because of the type of format that it was, I don't have a slide to show. I just wanted to speak and give, because it's only 10 minutes, I thought the slides might be a bit confusing to have them in French and in English as well. Because I believe that there are some French speakers here.
Yes.
And if you have any questions afterwards, of course, you can ask them to me in French, and seeing that there's a translator, I'll answer in French and the translator would go ahead and translate into English. So as Julie said, my name is Canel Hughes, and I am the East Africa manager for Sciences Po Paris, which is a French university. I'm very sorry about the fact that you can't see me. I don't know the reason behind that, but you can look at the other panelists who look beautiful, so you can do that. For the programs that we offer, we have various programs at the bachelor's and at the master's level. We focus mainly on social sciences. For the bachelor's programs, we offer a range of programs across our different campuses. The first and second years are going to be based on a campus in France, so either in Paris, and Reims and Menton, Le Havre, so different cities across France. And each campus is going to be linked to a specific area of the world. So if, for example, you're interested in African studies, social sciences, and light of African studies, then the Reims campus would be the most adapted to you. It's also good to note that we offer programs in English. So I'm not just speaking to the Francophone students. All of the Anglophones, we also have programs that could be interesting for you. And then sorry, I was reading in the chat. So after those 2 years, the third year is necessarily abroad. And because we have so many partnerships with universities across the world, you could virtually study in any country that you like. Afterwards, we have our master's programs, which are divided into 7 different graduate schools. So among these graduate schools, we have the Paris School of International Affairs, which is the most well-known and has approximately 70% of international students. We have an urban school, a law school, a school of public affairs, a school of management and innovation, a school of journalism, and a school of research as well. For all of these programs, of course, we have scholarship options for the most needy but excellent students. And they are able to apply for as many scholarships as they like. We have both full scholarships and scholarships that cover part of the tuition fees. Just as the undergraduate programs, the graduate programs, most of them are actually going to be available in English, with also possibilities of having classes in French. Sciences Po is very well known for international affairs, so we regularly have world leaders that come and give conferences. So it can be, for example, Justin Trudeau, who is the actual Prime Minister of Canada. We also welcomed the CEO of Google, Sundar Pichai. We also had the Prime Minister of New Zealand, and a variety of other really high-profile public personalities that come to speak to our students. And just as Lucy was saying, those are really good occasions to network with people, because of course ambassadors would be invited to such events. So it's really good opportunities to network. And speaking of networking, our alumni section is also really beneficial for networking, in the sense that we have former students that are present in almost every sector of the economy, particularly for those who are interested in NGOs and international organizations and major corporations. So that's all I'm going to say for now, because I know it must be weird to watch a black screen. If you have any questions, you're most welcome to ask them. And I'm going to share some brochures with Faith and with Julie, with Naomi, sorry, and with Julie, so that you can have access to additional information, and my email as well if you have any questions. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Carnell. I can see we only have one question in our chat box, and the question was directed to Faith. So we have one question which says, what happens if the salary offer is small and you do not have any other alternative? Is it bad to take it up? So Faith can answer it. And in case Lucy, you also want to chip in, feel free. Faith?
Julie, sorry, I missed what you said.
Okay, so there's a question from Grace. She's asking what happens if the salary offer is small and you do not have any other alternative? Is it bad to take it up? I assume this is after one has done an interview.
Yeah, sure. This is sort of a tricky question, because when someone is starting to consider a salary that is below the market rate or below their working out point, then it means there's something deeper to it. But the advice I can give is when you get a lower salary than the one that you had anticipated for, please go back to your drawing board. Ask for some time to think about it. No recruiter will will just brush you off if you're qualified and they want you to join the company. So ask for some time, think about it, check the bills that you have to pay. If you have bills, if maybe you're living by yourself, if you're living with family, is the pay that you're going to get comfortable? Will you struggle more to afford this job because of the transport fare, the rent fare, and other things that you're supposed to do, because you're not your job. As one of the facilitators said, you are beyond, or you're more than your job. So is your job going to add stress to your social life? Is it going to add more problems to you other than solving problems that you need this money for? So do your math, check if you have enough to pay for your necessities, that is rent, food, and other utilities. If this job does not offer you this comfortably, my advice would be not to take it, because it will give you more stress than to solve the current problems that you have. But as I said before, it is on case-to-case basis, because if you're looking to accept an offer that is below what you want to get, then it means it's not just money problems that you're looking to solve. It's something bigger than that. So understand the root problem that you want to solve. If it's money problem, then make the right decision. If it's not money problem, think about the bigger picture. Don't take a job to only stress yourself further, or even have more bills. If you take a job that's stressing you, then you're dealing with, depression, you're dealing with medical costs, you're dealing with transportation costs, you're dealing with gas, electricity. Think beyond the job. Think about your life as a whole. That's what I can say.
And to piggyback on that, as Faith says, if you're stressed, the chances are that you will not deliver on your new job. The chances are that you're going to lose the job. So yes, go back to the drawing board, think. And usually it's because we're desperate. Employers don't want to hire desperate people. They want to hire people that bring something to the table. And yes, we understand that you want a job and you need to pay bills. But like the quote I did, Richard Branson says, opportunities are like buses, there's always another one coming. I promise you, from my experience, there will always be another opportunity. It doesn't look like that at that time when you don't take the offer. But what it speaks, in fact, even to that employer, I remember I got an offer one time. It was 50% lower than my expectations. And I was clever enough, wise enough, the word is wise enough to decide not to take it because, and I said, this definitely is not my value. I bring more value than what you're giving me. The job market, I had done my research. Faith had told us to do our research. I had done my research. I knew the job market offered this much. The organization was just trying to be cheap. And I also knew people in that same organizations that were earning the industry level. So why was I getting less? It's because either the hiring manager was not seeing my value. Maybe I had not presented that value properly. So I needed to go back again to the drawing board and check myself. Why didn't I get this? Why is the value, why am I being devalued? Is it because I don't value myself and it came out through? Did I sound desperate and it came out through? So I turned it off. But fast forward, I got a call from the same organization, and they didn't just give me the market value, they added a little bit more to the market value. I'm not saying that happens all the time, but because I was I expressed that, I was very clear to that. Thank you very much. And I'm glad that you find that you can offer me to work here. I'm very excited. I'd be very excited to be with you, to work with this company. It's something that I really like. I like this about this company. However, I feel that I have more value to bring to the table than the company is willing to pay for. So thank you very much. If you do feel, when you do have this, maybe it's not in your budget, I give them an off, kind of like, if it's not within the budget right now, it's okay, but let's keep talking. I actually closed the interview and went, and they got back to me. So what I'm saying is, value yourself. It takes confidence, it takes boldness. It takes boldness to go back home, which is what I did that time, to nothing. I'm telling you, to nothing. To back home, to almost accepting a warehouse position. Back home to no food after a divorce. It takes courage. I don't know where I got it from. I won't tell you I'm very special, but I don't know where I got it from, but I did. And I walked away. And immediately I walked out of the door. Of course, I started saying, oh God, what did I just do? But I knew if I take that, I will not deliver. I'll be sad. I'll be looking for a side hustle. I'll be, and I like to be excellent wherever I am. I want to focus. So whatever I do, I want to be excellent. So I didn't take it, and it happened. So yes, it's a very individual decision, but I think it takes boldness, and you have to have the kahunas to do it.
Okay. Thank you so much, Faith and Lucy, for the response. I don't see any other question. In case you have any questions.
Jaria 2 had her hand up at one time.
Jaria 2, feel free to unmute and speak.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. It's afternoon in Gambia. I am assuming it's morning in the US and afternoon in other parts of Africa as well. So sorry, I did not write my question because it's kind of like a story that would lead to a question. I have two questions for Faith and another one for Lucy. The first question I would like to ask Faith. First, I am from the Gambia. So my kind of profession is not so common. So this is not a common scenario where everyone would, apply for a job, and instead this job offer was brought to me. Okay, so I had a job and it was okay, and these people wanted to open a new company. It has to do with it's optometry, that's eyes and glasses. So I was the only one available to work for them full time, because I worked for a private company and it was easy for me to resign from the private company and work for another. So they came with a very good offer in terms of the pay, but something was not okay with me when it came to the conditions in the contract, like me having to resign after 2 years and not work for another person and all that. So the first speaker had said you need to know your worth and then bargain on the contracts. So this is something I tried to do because I knew my worth and I knew I don't need the job that much as they needed me. So, I tried to begin in the contract. But what this did, instead of, getting the positive thing I was looking at from it, it led to an unhealthy relationship with my boss, because according to him, all the stuff that they had in Gambia was easy for them to get. Instead, they desperately wanted the job, but I had to take time, one, to accept the offer, and I had to go back and forth with them with the contract, to the point I got what I wanted and not what they wanted. So it's very stressful working for him, because even if you did the best, person will try to pick out from every little thing that you do. So I'm just trying to ask if in your worth, like you all mentioning, and like letting go of job offers that don't sit well with you, can apply to everyone, because I tried to do this and it's not healthy. So have you had any scenario where you think um, peculiar, I don't know, situations where this would not work, or you think it cuts across the board? And the other question is, I wanted to ask still to Faith, and maybe if Lucy could come in. Do you have any software recommendations to write a CV? I know you did talk about the font size and the space and the new Times Roman, but is there any software that you can recommend to write a CV? And you did also mention there is no one CV that cuts across for everyone, like every kind of job or every position that you're trying to apply to. But is there a format that you can recommend?
Okay, thank you, Jeria Chu. I'll pass it on to Faith.
Okay, thank you, Julie, and thank you, Jeria too. I hope I'm not butchering your name. But number one, I would like to start with the tool for writing a CV. There are many online tools that you can use. There's one called Free CV Builder, and also some softwares, including Microsoft, have CV Assist. And I think it's also in MacBooks. You can also have that depending on the device that you're using. And I know Microsoft has CV Assist. And also LinkedIn has short courses on how to write a CV. So those are few avenues you can use. Others is using professional CV writers that can also help you in organizing and drafting your CV. Now to your first question, I hope I have answered you on that question. On to your first question, this is exciting to listen to, because what I can hear from your voice is you're not sorry. You're not sorry. You're sorry, not sorry for negotiating for yourself. You are sorry, not sorry for standing up for, what you deserve. So this is the attitude that we want to implant to you, because I realize even recruiters, as Lucy said at some point, it's not that we don't know the worth and the value you're bringing. Sometimes we just want to cut on costs, not cutting on cost because there's no money, but cutting on cost because we feel like that's too much money, not because there's no budget. So when you stand up for yourself and it's in line with the budget that the organization wants and has, not wants really at this point, but has, then when they go back to the drawing board and they're looking at your CV, or they're looking at your qualification, and they're analyzing you, because when you go for an interview, you're not the only candidate that's being seen. They've seen more candidates. So why did they select you in the first place? Because you have something unique that other candidates didn't possess. And in this case, your uniqueness was the fact that you had skills that people in your region didn't have. So being able to stand for yourself, being able to negotiate for what you want was one aspect that I feel is important, and it has been important in your work life till now, even though you feel like, they feel that you're being too bossy, or you don't want to be malleable in terms of pay and allowances. But at the end of the day, it's it creates boundaries. It sets boundaries between you and your employer. The next time they're coming to you with an offer, trust me, they'll think about it. They'll think, how do we improve this this offer we are giving you? The last time we went to her, she had her standards. She didn't want to go lower than her minimum, bearable. So where do you draw the line between feeling bad about what you want, not because it's not good for you, but because it's not good for someone else? And this is where we set boundaries. Set boundaries between you and employers, and then your self-worth will not, and even your confidence will not be shaken. In this case, I would just like to say that you did the right thing. You spoke for yourself, and it's given you the motivation to be where you are right now. Given another timeline, to be honest, as Lucy said, you'd have been stressed. It wouldn't even add to the knowledge that you have right now, because you'd be thinking about, is this, why didn't I stand up for myself? Does it mean people can walk all over me the way they want? Does it mean I don't respect myself? Trust you me, it would have opened a Pandora's box that, it may be too wide to shut. So what you did was the right thing. And sometimes not everyone will agree with what you want, and that is okay. All of us have different nurturing, different ideologies, and what's good for you may not be good for someone else. So in this case, them seeing that, the way you say that, probably they feel that, they have some negative feelings towards you, or the perception they have towards you is not positive, then I think, forgive me for my French, but that is their business. Your business is to go into this company to give it's for you to go and give yourself to this company. It's for you to go and give value. It's for you to go and give your knowledge and your skills. The least this organization can do is remunerate you how you want to be remunerated. So don't feel bad about it. In another light, you may find that what you bargained for actually helped other people, because now when it comes to structuring and pay, they should not be a lot of parity between jobs in the same job group. So you may find you negotiating for what you negotiated. People who are coming to this job band or job group that you're going into are now going to have their salaries reviewed to the market rate in the next financial year. So don't feel bad about it.
Okay, thank you so much, Faith. Lucy, do you want to chip in? Just a brief answer, then we close.
I think Faith said most of the things, but just want to say your value system need to align. If they don't align, you will bring the wrong energy to the table. And you have to really think hard about your value system. What if the company and yourself don't connect? Because remember, when you go for an interview, you are interviewing, you're not just being interviewed, you're also interviewing. Yes. So interview the company and feel if your values align and the energy is right, and then step in with that. Otherwise, you will just go there and kill the space.
Thank you. Asenath, I see you've raised your hand. We can take that as the last question.
My question would be, on the aspect of networking. So my question would be, how do you handle one-sided conversation? Or how do you help like carry the conversation forward? Because I'll speak for myself. I find myself sometimes just being the one reaching out most of the time. And what does that mean? Or is that a bad thing?
Lucy, you can take that.
I didn't get most of the question. What was the question, if you want to repeat?
My question is, how do you handle one-sided conversations? You've networked, now it's time to follow up, but you find yourself that you're the one always reaching out.
The possibilities that you're not asking the right questions, there's that possibility. One-sided, or the other person isn't just ready to have conversation with you. But I haven't been, maybe because I do this very well, maybe, but I don't know one person I can't break through, even when they've fought with their wives or they fought with their husbands before they came. I figure out, because like I said, my superpower is intuition, so I can sense. So energies. You really have to do your research. If you have a one-sided conversation, it's you're asking the wrong questions. Craft better questions.
Okay.
You don't ask yes/no questions. Like, are you happy to be here? Yes. Do you like this company? Yes. How long have you been in this company? 10 years. Those are open-ended. I mean, those are yes/no questions. Ask open-ended questions, questions that that provoke thought. I know that there's time.
Okay, thank you, Lucy.
Okay, thank you so much. My takeaway today is know your worth, and opportunities are always buzzing. So I'm hoping each one of us has learned something out of this discussion that we've had today. We were to end at 4, but then I think the conversations were very interesting. I wish we had more time to even dig deeper and have further discussions, but I'm hoping we will have another webinar soon so that we are able to continue with this conversation. I'd request every one of us to put on our cameras because we want to take a group photo to at least tell the others that next time they shouldn't miss. We must make them feel bad for missing this webinar. However, we will put the webinar will be on our YouTube page, FAWE Africa. So feel free to share the link and information about this webinar with other alumni who are not able to join. Feel free also to share with your friends, your family members who are looking for such insightful information. I want to thank our speakers today. I want to thank you, Lucy, Faith, Irmin, and Kennel for sharing with us all this beautiful information. Thank you so much for being selfless and for creating time to be here with us. I also want to thank our interpreters for their job well done. Thank you for enabling us bring the aspect of inclusivity so that both our Anglophone and Francophone participants are able to listen in. I also want to thank all participants for taking time to be here with us. I can see a few are dropped off because of other meetings and other engagement, but I'm so glad that a large number of us have remained here till the start to the end. I'm so grateful for that. And I'm wishing you all, I know we are in different continents, so I wish you a good morning, a good afternoon, and a good evening. But before you leave, I kindly request that we all put on our cameras so that we take a photo. Then everyone can leave at their own pleasure. So I'd request everyone to put on their camera.
Usually others seem not to have gotten the invitation. If you're able to just resend.
Okay, so I'm resending that for 9 participants. Bakari, please accept. I'm promoting you to be a panelist. Jama, Cheka, Christine, Emma, Stella, George, Shikri, and Zara, please accept the invitation so that you're able to put on your camera. Okay, I see most of us have their cameras on. Our interpreters, please feel free to put on your cameras. We also want to have you in our photo. Kennel, I don't know if you are able to resolve the issue with your camera.
Obviously still not, because the screen is still black, so I don't know
Okay,
what.
we will write a name on your on your photo. Okay, Joanne, are you ready? Okay, smile and say FAWE. Are you ready? Okay, so she will take the photo. That's it. Done? Yeah. Okay, thank you so much, Joanne. So I'll look at the photo and see who smiled, who had the broad smile, then I'll send you chocolates. So thank you so much, and I'm hoping to see you in our next webinar. Goodbye.
Thank you, bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank
Goodbye.
you. Goodbye.
Bye.
Okay. Does she have the name already? What's the name? Ayla. Okay.